Hello there, and welcome to Secret Files Africa. I am your host, the voice of Africa. So, today we're going to be discussing an interesting development that has just taken place. Ethiopia and Somaliland have just signed a deal whereby Ethiopia will get access to the sea via Somaliland. And in exchange, it is rumored that Somaliland will be given recognition by Ethiopia. Now, this is a very huge deal because it serves to benefit the two countries. Ethiopia will get the access to the sea, and Somaliland will get its first ever country to recognize it. I have a feeling in the future, Ethiopia is going to be one of the superpowers of Africa. Ethiopia's biggest problem, essentially, at this point is it doesn't have access to the sea. So it has to pay exorbitant port fees to Eritrea, Djibouti, or Somaliland, or even Kenya to access the sea. So that sort of inhibits its economy. But slowly by slowly, Ethiopia is it's essentially starting to assert its dominance. And if you remember what Abiy said, I think it's a few days ago, he said that Ethiopia's future is determined by the Red Sea. And this got people very nervous because most of the small countries bordering Ethiopia, the Eritrea, Djibouti, and Somaliland, took this as an interest for war by Ethiopia. Another problem Ethiopia is going to face is its neighbor to the north, its neighbor to the very north, Egypt. And this is because of the Ethiopia's decision to go ahead with filling of the dam that's along the Blue Nile. So Egypt claims that this will reduce the rate of flow for the River Nile and thus affect its economy, because they depend on the Nile for agriculture, energy generation, etc. So I see a war happening between these two countries, and unfortunately, a country like Sudan will also be found in the middle of this conflict because they may have to pick a side. So either they'll join Egypt or they'll join Ethiopia, but Sudan won't be neutral. So so it will be a war with at least three belligerents, and then there is Eritrea, Djibouti, and Somaliland. So I also see these three countries being co-opted into the war because if Ethiopia doesn't assert its dominance over the three countries and Egypt is able to do so, then Egypt can use the three countries essentially as a pawn, as pawns to launch attacks into Ethiopia and destabilize it, both economically and militarily. While you're at it, let's talk about Somalia. And by Somalia, I mean the region minus Somaliland. So this region over here that includes this area that's not included in the Somaliland region. These guys have been fighting for a long time, and they'll keep fighting for a long time. So the clan-based ethnic violence that is continuing there will still continue for a very long time. So the Horn of Africa region heading up north to Egypt is a very unstable part of the world, and I see a lot of conflicts here. It's just a smoking powder keg waiting to explode. And to make matters more interesting, we have the ongoing civil war in Yemen, and we have the Houthi intervention whereby they've essentially closed down this Gulf of Aden, the Red Sea, access to ships traversing to Israel or ships owned by Israel. So I see another conflict brewing in the horizon over here because I don't see the United States taking this lying down because Israel is their biggest ally. So there's going to be conflict in Yemen. I see conflict in Somalia. I see conflict in Ethiopia. Eritrea is sort of like a North Korea, so no one really knows anything that goes on in Eritrea. And Djibouti is sort of the only island of peace. From Egypt down through Sudan, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Somali, Yemen. This is just a smoking powder keg of violence waiting to explode.